I'd say, unrealized potential. I think there's a lot of valuable resources here that aren't fully utilized, and that's probably the biggest stumbling block to progress in the city.
I do see it as a very positive thing. I feel blessed to be working here now and be part of, what the buzzword is, resurgence and rebirth and all that, and that might be a little dramatic. I mean, I think that there are a lot of challenges ahead of this city, and some of them are sort of cyclical in the sense that it's like, which came first, kind of the chicken or the egg? There's a rise in crime right now, and people talk about, why is that? Is it because the economy is so bad and people don't have jobs, or is it because the city of Detroit can't afford to put enough policemen on the street? And Bing's response to the number of police on the street is like, that's not going to solve the problem, because part of this is a societal problem. Like, the people in these crime areas it's so entrenched in part of their culture. The people in that area kind of lose a sense of right and wrong, maybe over time, and through generations, and then therefore the area becomes, further affected by that sort of decline in morality and ethics and the increase in crime and other things that go along with that. And so what are the solutions? Is it more police on the street? I don't know. Well, is it job training? Well, how do you train somebody for a job if they don't have a car to get there, if they don't have money for daycare, if they don't, and then is it just training them for the job skills, or is it changing their mindset about employment and responsibility and, personal growth and things like that? The city itself as a government is experiencing in terms of, financing, right? Like if businesses and residents are fed up with the lack of civil services and the lack and the increase in crime and things like that, they move out, which decreases the tax base, which then further depletes the services and increases the crime and things like that. So all of these kind of societal problems, I think, have a cyclical effect. It can seem an insurmountable challenge to meet all of the needs of all of those different problems in a way that inspires change and makes things better. But I am eternally optimistic. I think that I see every day in my work a lot of other people across this city in small ways doing little things that individually or as a group, or as a community, as an organization, are making, putting all of their energy and time and other resources, financial resources, into making small changes that I do think will eventually have a large impact on the growth and the rebirth of this fine city we live in. There's pockets where things are really starting to happen, and I think that success breeds success, and in the same way that failure and other problems can breed other problems, I think it flips too. And when good things start happening, and good people get involved and resources are available, then those things can continue to grow at the same rate that the problems might grow when they're being fed. There's a good wolf and an evil wolf or whatever living inside of me. Which one are you going to let live, or which one lives and it's the one you feed?
The aquarium reopened about 2 months ago. August 18th, I believe, was our open date, reopen date. But it was closed for 7 years before that. Everything with at the aquarium is completely 100% volunteer run. With our empty tanks, we have people sponsor the tanks and put in photos or different artifacts that they would like, and they pay to have those put in, and that money goes towards restoring the tanks so we can have more fish.
Well, we try and buy as many local products as possible. We get all of our produce from Eastern Market. We get our McClure's pickles, which are actually made in Troy, but it's a local product. We only sell Fago and Verner's products, which are two Michigan companies. Just as many products as we possibly can, we get from down there.
I think it's got a lot of challenges, obviously. Built for $2 million, currently housing 700,000. There's an interesting race dynamic in that there's the history and also just the distribution. It doesn't really sync up with the national distribution. Finances are awful. We had what I believe to be corruption in the government, a la Kwame Kilpatrick. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this city. It's very interesting.
I like hearing those stories, you know.
The stories what I liked about the city. I can relate back to even my first jobs. You know, I was a paper boy for a number of years, and I would have to cross Gratiot Avenue with two large paper bags on my shoulder, and this was like 6 lanes wide with a streetcar in the middle, and so I could never run fast enough with my papers to make it from one side to the other. Also, at the time, with that same streetcar, our friends, we used to go to a Tigers ball game. I couldn't be 12 or 13 years old. My parents would trust us to get on the Gratiot streetcar, head downtown, get a transfer to Michigan Avenue, streetcar, head to Tiger Stadium, and see a ball game for 60 cents. We had anything and everything. We had, walk down the street, go to the show, just do things that you normally do in a city. I went to Cass Tech because I didn't want to go to Eastern High, because Eastern, not only did Cass Tech have a good reputation, and my sister went there, but by the time I was ready to go to Eastern, it was a lot greater percentage minority, and the school had gotten dangerous. So that meant that I had to take a bus from the east side of Detroit to go to high school. I'm talking public transportation, and that was a hassle. Called blockbusting, and that way they'd penetrate a neighborhood, offer a big price, and then people would move out because they didn't want to be a part of a neighborhood that was losing property values very quickly. The entertainment, whatever, Tiger game, Lion game, good places to eat, if you like to gamble, that sort of thing, it's always a destination to go to. It's just you don't have a really supportive population that's within a close proximity. Once you're out in the suburbs, once you've made that move to leave the city, Now you have a choice. Now see, do I want to go someplace comfortable, or do I want to go all the way downtown? So what does downtown Detroit have that I don't have out here?
It's hard to bring people back.
I think there's some good signs and some not so good signs. That's about as low as you can go, or maybe you can go lower because of crime, because of whatever. What they've tried to do, I think, is like uptown area around the Fisher Building. They've tried to develop an interest, and there's an area I think bordered by the freeways that is now kind of being more energized with homes that are being refurbished and young professionals, which is really the key for Detroit to come back. That's like an area that looks like it has promise, and as that grows, then that's good. But there's not enough to draw me, personally, downtown. I mean, it's in some cases like a movie set, because it's like this facade.
You know what people crave is that just, I want to live in my community. I want to feel safe. They make so many sacrifices to live where they live. I want my kid to be able to run across the street and play with another kid. That's a quality of life that a lot of people want. Quality of life is community, feeling safe in your community, feeling invested in your community.
The community I'm in is a neighborhood called East English Village. It's on the east side. It's over by Grosse Pointe, if you're familiar with that area. And it's really unlike any neighborhood I've ever been in. It's very engaged. Neighbors know each other. It's very supportive. People look out for each other, and it's ethnically diverse. The ages of people who live there are very diverse. It's just a really cool place to be.
Yeah, how do you get back there? And so, because there's this group of people who they're young, urban professionals, they're educated, they have one vision for the city. And then you've got this other established group of people. Yeah. They have another vision for the city. You know what I mean? And so it's just, to me, what I see is this, there's this conflicting visions of where the city, what they want the city to be, you know? The two most exciting areas of development, urban development in Detroit, are the whole arts, the creative arts. I don't know if you're gonna call it industry or a movement, but it's really it's become a magnet for people who are artists, who want to have a place where they can feel free to explore their creative ideas and invite in a place where people are open to that. But again, you need people to form a community. I want to live somewhere where I feel safe.
It's interesting. I mean, it's obviously very convenient for me in terms of working here and living 5 minutes away. I think it, for me and my wife, offers us a lot in terms of work-life balance. For us, it really is a quality of life issue in terms of where we chose to live. You know, the experience itself, living there, it's. I mean, I wouldn't sugarcoat it. It's not the greatest thing in the world. We don't have the best city services, and you know, when we go on our walk, you know, there are streets that we don't go down. I mean, because it is still, Corktown is a very good, nice neighborhood, and I'd say better than average in terms of Detroit neighborhoods on the whole. They're still, you know, you're still in an environment where you need to be smart about what you're doing and where you're going. So it's not like, you know, our heads are in the clouds and we can just float around and not pay attention to what's going on around us. And there are things that we've just come to accept, like there's a drug dealer that sits in the parking lot around the corner from our house, and it's just like that is what it is. Like, we know that's where he hangs out, and we just I don't know if acceptance is the right term, but I mean, we know it. I don't say we don't even deal with it. I mean. I mean, to a certain degree, it's funny because people ask frequently, like, well, what do you do about the crime rate? You know, and the crime rate is a function of how much crime is going on versus how many people live there. So if you just move a bunch of people in that don't commit crime, your crime rate goes down without the number of crimes committed changing at all. You know, that's something that I look at and say, like, if there are just more good people moving in and doing good and doing right by, you know, their neighborhood and their community and their city, then some of those problems, I don't say fix themselves, because obviously crime is still an issue, but the perception of it changes. I was born in Detroit, and, you know, my grandfather had a grocery store in Eastern Market. I mean, Detroit's my home. No, we want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Part of the problem is people leaving. So the solution, therefore, is people moving back.